Good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Abdul Shahan Shah Ali Qasim, and this is Techno on IBN Live every Thursday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. And as you know, this program is the one that is designed to inform you about all the nifty gadgets and all the things that's happening in technology, all of the developments worldwide with regards to technology, as well as we will educate you in different aspects of the use of your everyday technology. For example, your phones and computers and so much more. Tonight, our topic, we are talking about what exactly is a digital footprint. Just to give you a little brief, most of us know that, well, if you walk on the earth and you walk on the sand, for example, let's take, for example, walking on the sea sand. So you walk on the sea sand, you create an impression or footprint, and that footprint will remain. If you're walking on the dry sand, it will be there for a little while, the breeze will blow, and eventually that sand will reform, it will blow, and then that footprint will be no more. If you walk on the wet sand on the sea line, the seashore, eventually what will happen is that you will walk, you will make a depression, and then the waves will come up and the water will eventually erode and wash away that footprint. So maybe you walk today and tomorrow that footprint is no more. Similarly, when it comes to technology, when it comes to things like the internet, the web, we all have something known as a digital footprint. So similar to a physical footprint that goes into the sand, we all create something as a digital footprint that is on the internet. Now, a digital footprint or digital signature on the internet is something different to what we would know. Why? Because when you make an impression of your use or your pathway of whatever you would have done on the internet, that information does not just disappear. It doesn't just become a virtual memory that just withers away like the breeze blowing the sand. That use of technology remains somewhere in the cloud. Now, when we say the cloud, we're not talking about cloud in the sky. We're talking about a virtual cloud. What is a virtual cloud? Simply put, it's a space that is stored in electronic devices all over the world, all over the globe. And in some cases, it could even be in space or even under the sea, depending on where storage servers are kept. Now, most of you, if not all of you, would have access to emails, social media, and when you use those emails, you use social media, you use online banking, you send and receive emails, you use WhatsApp, for example, you don't just send a message or receive a message or leave a voice note or take a picture and send it via the web. What you do is that you share data online, and that data being shared online, simply put, is not just goes and comes and you delete a file and it erases. When you delete something, it means that it's deleted from your platform, from your device. It might be deleted from your cloud storage. But somewhere in the cyberspace or in cyber cloud, that digital image that you would have created would have been duplicated, would have been mirrored somewhere, some part of the world on some other storage device. And there are good parts about it, there are bad parts about it. Tonight we're going to talk about exactly what it is, how it works, and what you need to know and what you need to do in terms of securing yourself. So we take a look at our first clip, and that is, what is a digital footprint? Right, so you just saw a basic video in terms of what a digital footprint is. Now, most of you, or so let's say some of the younger ones and some of the middle-aged ones, as the case may be, you all use some form of social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and there are so many others that goes around, as the case may be. Sometimes we share information to our friends, our family, our peers, just casual people. Sometimes we overshare information to the public. What that means is that when you overshare information, yes, you could go and delete it. But as you saw in that video, it stated that sometimes a potential employer or someone who wants to know a little bit about you might Google some information on you or to do a little checkup. And although you might have shared information when you was, let's say, 5 years ago on the internet and deleted it after a while, you might think that, hey, you know what, that information is no longer there. I've now grown older, I've now matured, and so on. But you wouldn't want a potential employer checking your background and realize, look, this guy, instead of he actually doing what he's supposed to be doing, he used to go out and have a good time, have a party, and generally do things on work hours when he's supposed to be at work doing what he's supposed to be doing. It shows a bad reflection, and that information could work in a negative form against you. Sometimes you might see people enacting stimulated videos or simulated videos of other people. And what happens is that sometimes you might see it, you might look at it, you might chuckle, you might laugh, you might say, okay, that's funny. But then you do not know what information can be shared and construed and taken in the wrong context. And in some cases, you could even be taken to task for it. So we would have heard a couple of years ago where people are using social media for fake news, where people are using social media for promoting a particular item or business concept or personality or an event. But there's something called AI, and we're going to get down to AI little later on in the season. And the little clips and little programs that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, we're going to get up to AI, but we're going to talk about what you need to know before we even get there. Now, you can take something that you shared, or somebody could take something that was shared 5 years ago, and you might have taken a picture on vacation, put it on the internet, leave it right there, maybe put in an audio clip. Now, by putting on an audio clip and put in a video of you on vacation, maybe at the beach or somewhere, what can happen is two things. Someone who looked at that video that you would have posted 5 years ago will then listen to that audio clip and actually extract your voice. Then they will take your single static stationary photograph, and through some type of program, maybe on their phone, because now the technology is available. 5 years ago it was not available. They can use that AI platform and animate your picture, put a voiceover of audio, and create something totally that looks like you, sounds like you. Of course, it might not be you. But as we go along, as I said, coming in the next couple of weeks, we will talk about how to identify what is AI and how AI is going to actually be tailoring our whole world. And something is a good thing, but it's a very frightening thing because you could get set up in so many ways. But today is not our program. Our next clip will expand on what is a digital footprint. And we're also going to talk about, in terms of cybersecurity, what we started off last week. We're going to build on that. And we're going to talk about what is a virus, what is a spyware, what is adware, and so on, so that you'll understand some of the terms, because when we actually get into the nitty-gritty, you will need to know what we're talking about. So let's look at our other video, what is a digital footprint, and that's the second video.
Welcome. In this episode, we will explore digital footprints and why they are deeper than most people assume. We will talk about some strategies you can adopt to protect yourself and stop your footprint from widening online. If you find this episode useful, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Before we get into why your digital footprint goes deeper than you imagine, Let's first start off by explaining what a digital footprint actually is. Your digital footprint is all the stuff you leave behind as you use the web. Think of it like a trail of breadcrumbs. Comments on social media, website visits, app use, and email records are all part of your online history. This can potentially be seen by other people or tracked in a database. This digital portrait is probably more public than we assume. This raises big concerns, as people don't realize the extent to which their data and activities online are being monitored and recorded potentially in a malicious way. Why is your digital footprint bigger than you think? On average, people spend between 1 to 3 hours per day on the web. In younger generations, this is amplified. Everything you do online is monitored and collected. Every click, every like, every post, and every share. Your digital footprint may have even started before you even knew about the web. With family members posting photos and milestone updates of your early life on social media. Every form you fill in, subscription activated, free trial membership created has a ripple effect across the web which widens your footprint deeper. Most people don't realize that all this data about them builds up an online profile. This could be used for manipulation and exploitation. How do you leave a digital footprint? Your digital footprint is more complex than just a social media post here and there. There are plenty opportunities for companies, data collectors, and other organizations to collect data in a discreet and indirect fashion. Examples of some methods are through shopping activity, website visits, cookies, social media posts, and even sharing content. Think about the last time you made an online purchase. This may have been through a retail giant such as Amazon, or a smaller independent brand. With every purchase you make, a retailer can build up a profile of your shopping habits and interests, which can be used to allow targeted ads and email spam. Cookies and trackers are also stored on your browser to monitor your online activity, even after you have left a site. On a more concerning note, if such data falls into malicious hands, targeted phishing spam can be crafted to increase the likelihood of a successful attack. Let's take a look at an example. Think about this: imagine you have just been looking at a new bike online. You have visited many online stores to find the cheapest price for a particular model. You decide to have some thinking time and leave it for another day. Many online retailers now know that you are interested in a particular bike. This is done by storing cookies on your browser. You could have possibly visited a site that is not trusted, which uses this data to send a phishing pop-up, showing the bike at a discounted price. This type of spam has now been targeted at you as you had an intent in purchasing a bike. You now see this advertisement possibly a day after at a price which you think is great. Without being conscious of this, you may be likely to click on this ad and purchase the bike. In actual fact, you were a victim of a targeted scam. Let's look at how to reduce your footprint online. While it's not possible to have a non-existing footprint, the first steps toward reducing your digital footprint and managing your digital identity are not that hard. Let us take a look into some steps you should adopt to reduce your digital footprint. Firstly, delete all tracking cookies and browsing history from your computer regularly. Ad trackers will have a tougher time following you around if you delete your cookies on each of your devices. Apple, Google, and Microsoft have published instructions on how to clear data for their browsers Safari, Chrome, and Edge. Installing an ad blocker such as AdBlock Plus is also a wise decision to stop targeted ads from reaching you whilst you are browsing the web. The next very important step is to opt out of providing personally identifiable information. For example, you may not be required by law to provide your telephone number when making a purchase. In addition to this, only enter the bare minimum amount of information required. Optional inputs are only enhancing your online profile. Next, periodically purge your Google ad history. Google offers the My Activity tool, where you can take a deep look at the data they have stored about you. Review security settings on social networks and stay updated on new features and settings. Additionally, you could use a private web browser such as Brave, which is a very popular option for privacy. A key thing to remember that anything posted is public, even if your social network settings are private, as the information is stored on a server. We have talked about how to reduce your digital footprint, but what if you are worried that too much is out there already? If this is the case, you should consider performing an audit of the accounts or profiles that you have created online. Most people will have created many accounts over time, for gaming, online shopping, socializing, or even just out of curiosity. These are easy to forget but important to manage. Make a note of accounts that you know you have but no longer use. From this curated list, delete information and deactivate the accounts you no longer use. For some websites, this will be easy. You might even find that your web browser has saved your old usernames and passcodes. If you have forgotten your username, search through your email inboxes to find emails from the websites. Most large websites will have a process you can follow to retrieve your account details. Another strategy is to do a Google search of yourself. There may be old photos or account details that are still online. Having images online that you no longer wish to be seen may have a damaging impact down the line. Think about a potential employer searching your name in a browser, revealing things you may not want to be known. This could all stem from an innocent tagging in a friend's social media post. You can read more information about removing a photo from Google via the Help Center. With these strategies, you can help minimize your footprint and stay safe online.
Right, so what you just saw there is a little more expanded explanation of digital footprint. And for those of you who might say, well, you know, I don't send and receive emails, I'm not so much on social media. I used to be on social media a couple of years ago. That was on my old computer, or that was on my new phone, or my old phone, or my other phone, as the case may be. I had a different number. The idea is that once you have an online account, it could be anything that's on the internet. It could be TNTech bill, WhatsApp bill, social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It can be a Google account, Gmail account, Hotmail account, Yahoo. Once you have some type of use of technology, you have a digital footprint. And in some cases, you might, for the older ones who don't use the internet, you might say, well, I don't even have a digital footprint. But more than likely you do, because if you have an electricity bill, and the electricity company is online, once you sign up for the use of paying an electricity bill, even if it means that you go into the physical place and you pay online, they have a network built into their platform. And those platforms are connected from Port of Spain to Curep to Arima to San Fernando to Cuba, for example. And once you go into one of those outlets, those public offices, to pay a bill, or you go into a bank to pay a utility bill, it means now that that connection, that interconnection is loaded somewhere, and although they might have physical servers or storage units in their physical operation, it's connected. And once it's connected, and it's connected to some type of shared platform, it also means that somehow or the other, just as you could get access to the information, just as they could get access to the information, it means that someone else can get access to the information. We take a break right now, and when we come back, we have a lot more to talk about your digital footprint, social media, and ways to protect yourself. Stay tuned.
At Extra Foods, we care for you. That's why we always have the widest variety, the best prices, spacious aisles of total convenience, plus clean, safe surroundings. Let us care for you. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
Assalamu alaikum. In this, our 20th anniversary of existence, we here at IBN want you to be a part of our family. Call us at 663-4762 or 795-5900. Those numbers again, 795-5900 or 663-4762, and be a part of our advertising campaign. Glorious and available rates to you and your company. So remember, call us say at IBN 663-4762 or 795-5900 and be a part of the IBN family.
Chic Leisure Limited, making life easier. Our renowned great tasting vermicelli comes pre-cut in regular and parch, packaged to make preparation simple. Attention all doubles vendors and roti makers, try our high quality pre-sifted bromate free all-purpose and whole wheat flour, low price and conveniently packaged. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Chic Leisure Limited, Warrenville, Conopia. Chic Leisure Limited, quality you can trust.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Sun and Main Road, Cunupia.
Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab our Oasis, now why wait? Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab our Oasis, now why wait? The greatest, the safest, Oasis for sure. Oasis, it's purer than pure.
Welcome back once again to IBN's Techno. I am your host, Abdul Shahansha Ali Qasim, and this program, as I said, is aired every Thursday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. This is our new season. I believe today is episode number 3 of this particular season. If you are looking at this program for the first time and you want to know where this program come from, well, we have not been on air for a little while. We have been broadcasting on this station since 2006, all the way down to 2018, the end of 2018. I took a little break because of family-related matters, and now we are back on with a whole range of technology. And as you know, technology is something that changes every single day, every single week, every single month. And we always have something to talk about. We always have something to show you. And as it evolves, we are here to actually bring it to you and explain it to you, as well as break it down to layman terms. So this program is designed for not just the young and the old, but also the middle age, and for the techies and those people who have an idea, but they want to get some more information. We will talk about digital technologies. We'll talk about terminologies, and we will try to break it down, as I said. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you would like to address, or you would like us to cover in one of the future programs, you can feel free to drop me a line. My number is 791-0903, and for those on the Red Network, you can call me on 340-1130. You can send it to me on WhatsApp as well. Just let me know what you would like discussed, and I will definitely do the research, bring together the footage or the guests, as the case may be, and at some point in time on this program, we will have an episode dealing with your topic. Sometimes if you have a question about something that we would have discussed or talk about, something that we might showcase, for example, you can definitely feel free to send us an email or send us a WhatsApp, and we will be able to respond to you as the case may be, right? So our topic tonight is digital footprint. And the question is, what is a digital footprint? We take a look at our next video, and that will explain to you a little bit more about what is a digital footprint.
If you use the internet, you should be aware of your digital footprint. Just like physical footprints that show someone's steps on a dirt path, Your digital footprint is a history of all the activity you do online. Any social media posts you make, any websites you visit, and any information you share online contributes to your digital footprint. Once you post something online, it can't be erased, so your digital footprint can last forever. This can be a good thing if your digital footprint includes things that give you a positive reputation online. This can help you build your personal brand. Your online history can also help the apps you use know more about you. They can use this information to serve you better by adjusting to the things you like and your daily habits. But they can also use this information in the wrong way and share it with others. Keep the following tips in mind when you go online to manage your digital footprint. Tip number 1. Know what your footprint says about you. Other people use your digital footprint to make judgments about you online. This can include employers when you apply for a job or recruiters when you apply for academic programs. It's important to know what your digital footprint says about you and how your information is being used. To see what your personal brand is online, you can search for yourself. Search for your name in the Bing search engine and see what results are displayed. If these results don't show what you want, think about what you share online and what information you allow other people to see. Tip number 2. Manage your privacy settings. You can modify the privacy settings of most of the social media sites and online applications that you use. This can help you control who sees what you share and what information shows up when someone searches for you online. Tip number 3. Manage your cookies. Cookies are notes given to your web browser as you browse the web. These cookies help apps track information that they need while you're using the app. This can help the app work better for you, but this data also contributes to your digital footprint. You can use the settings in your browser to limit or block the use of cookies on certain websites. Tip number 4. Think before you share. Once you share something online, you can't take it back. Make sure you're okay with something being a part of your public digital footprint before you share it. Your digital footprint can live forever. Keep these tips in mind to make sure you're happy with your digital footprint and how it is used.
Right, so that little clip there is a little explanation in terms of what is a digital footprint. And that means that once you are using some form of technology online, it means that your digital footprint is created and it is not just washed away or blown away with the breeze, but it remains there indefinite. Once technology exists, that digital footprint exists. And what is happening is as the world evolves and the world of technology evolves, what will happen is that clips of footprints and that communication and that listing of family history, what it does, it actually intertwines and it forms a whole encyclopedia of information about you. And yes, it could be good, but it could also be bad. And it could also be misused to your detriment as well. So what that simply means is that we all have to be very particular about the information that we share, the information that we communicate, the information that we exchange when it comes to electronic devices. And as I said in our last program, yes, your phones has microphones, right? So almost everybody phones know we have a microphone because we can speak on it. But that also means that once my phone is powered up, the microphone is on and the camera is on. And although I'm not physically on my phone making a call right now, there are interfaces, there are background programs that on the system that is actually listening to what I'm saying. Someone can actually hack the phone through an IP address or even what is known as a serial number, like a digital serial number, for example. And that electronic serial number, whether it be on a SIM card or on the phone, can then be used to track who you are, where you are. You know, you have location services, for example. You ever had a situation whereby you've been to somewhere, let's say, for example, you went to a mall. You didn't take out your phone, you didn't use your phone, but you had your phone on you. And then maybe a day or two afterwards, you get a message popping up. How was your experience at so-and-so mall? Or how was your experience at so-and-so restaurant? Or how would you rate that visit? And you want to know, but wait a minute, I didn't go by anyone, I didn't use my phone, I didn't go on the internet, I just simply went for something to eat, or I went to the beach, as the case may be, how did that phone, or how did that message pop up? Yes, there are tracking systems on the devices, and more now, almost every single electronic device, including your smartphones, it's not just called a smartphone for namesake. It's a reason why they call it a smartphone, because there are things now that is being embedded, very basically, put hidden icons and hidden gems on the system that has been able now to monitor your movements. Now, most of us know that everybody have a phone. Some people have 1 phone, 2 phones, 3 phones. They have so many phones now that they buy phones for children, different ages. Some schools allow phones, some schools don't allow phones because, they're about bullying, about fights and so on. And then people take out the phone, they film it. What they want to do, they want to put them on social media because they want to be famous. Well, if you have a phone, or you would have bought a phone for a child, I'm going to show you another clip right now, and that will actually show you some responsible use of technology. And this video is designed for children, but of course everyone can benefit, but it's designed specifically for children. Let's take a look.
Whoa, you have just received a present, your first smartphone. Did you know you can do tons of things with a smartphone? One of the coolest things is that you can go on the internet. The internet is an amazing place to find new friends like you from all over the world. You can play games, listen to music, send text messages, and learn lots of things. But there are rules on the internet that should be followed. Every time you send a message to a friend, it's like delivering the message in person. Everything you write online is the same as a face-to-face conversation. Virtual is real. When you express yourself, remember that the words you use represent you. You are what you communicate. Take great care with everything you share online, like information and photos about you and your friends. If you have any doubts, always ask an adult for help. Share with care. Don't forget that sometimes it's best to turn it off and spend quality time with your friends and family. And always remember to be mindful of how much time you spend using your phone. Ask an adult to help you set up time limits. Be careful when sharing pictures and information online. They can be easily shared by others, and they can remain online for a very long time. Be yourself, especially when you communicate with other people online. The words you use represent you. Put your phone out of your reach when you are studying. It will help you to be more focused. When you enjoy time with your friends and family, there is no need to use the phone, so sometimes it's better to turn it off. Don't you agree? Hi, Hannah. You're spending time online, aren't you? I understand. There's so much interesting stuff. And chatting with your friends on social media is so much fun. Sometimes, though, we need to be careful because with our behavior, we could hurt other people.
What do you mean?
Let's do a little test, okay? In the school WhatsApp group, someone sends an embarrassing photo of your friend. How do you react?
Hey guys, that's not funny. Why don't we delete the photo?
Virtual is real. In a chat with a friend, as a joke, you use a not-so-nice word and your friend gets upset. What's your reaction?
He is overreacting. He should have a laugh. I should put myself in his shoes. I know that it was a mistake, and I'll say sorry.
Words have consequences. A friend tells you about one of her weaknesses, and you really want to share it with others online.
This is so funny. I'm gonna post it. Can you imagine how many likes I can get? I am old enough to understand when it's right to post something or not. And this time, it's best not to.
Silence says something too. Well done, Hannah. Remember that the way we behave is crucial to fight against cyberbullying. Remember, be a friend, not a bystander. If you come across offensive videos or messages, tell the bullies to stop. If you keep quiet, you empower them. Your actions can make the difference. Remember that words have consequences, and what you say online can have consequences in real life. Respect your friend's privacy. How would you feel if a friend shared something embarrassing about you? It's better to ask consent before posting. Use the available tools. Most social media apps allow you to block people or report the problem to the service. If you are bullied, you can always use these tools. If you witness something online that you don't like or that could hurt you or a friend, remember that you can always talk to an adult.
Today is my birthday. I'm gonna post a story. Let's meet outside school. Happy birthday!
Selfie?
Yeah! Hey guys, let's shoot some hoops. Basketball court at 4. I'll be waiting for you at my place to celebrate. This is my address and my phone number.
Happy birthday, David! You're very popular, aren't you? You have lots of friends. You use chats and social media all the time. They know everything about you. What you like, when your birthday is, who your friends are, the sport you play. But they could also know your phone number and where you live. Have you ever thought that what you share online could be read by someone that is not so much of a friend? Always remember to take great care with the personal information and photos that you share online. Share with care. Now let's go celebrate. Your friends are waiting for you. Remember, pictures and information that you post or send can be easily reshared by others, so they could remain online for a very long time. Be careful when posting. Don't share phone numbers, addresses, or personal details. This information could be misused by others. Always check your privacy settings of the apps you use. It's important to know what people can see or who can contact you. When signing into a website or social media, ask an adult for help and advice. Choose a difficult password and share it only with your parents. Take great care with everything you share online. If you have any doubts, always ask an adult for help.
No, I can't believe it. I have to share this.
Wow, so many likes. What have you shared?
Look at this. It's so cool. I'll share it as well.
Groundbreaking, eating 1 kilo of chocolate a day boosts your memory? Where did you see that?
A friend from school has shared it with me. Not sure where she has seen it.
Did you double-check this information before sharing it?
What do you mean?
On the internet and social media, there are lots of news stories that are not real, and they are called fake news. Sometimes they are posted just to make people laugh, other times to get more likes or harm someone or something.
Come on. At the end of the day, it's just a post on social media. Look at all these likes.
But it's a lie. It's only chocolate we're talking about, but next time it could be you. Think about it. Always remember that. Virtual is real.
But I've only shared it online.
I know, but it's important to be able to spot fake news, especially before sharing it online. Share with care.
And how do you do that?
It's not difficult. You just need to follow a few rules. Would you like me to tell you about them?
I'm all ears.
Let's try something. You have just received this message from a friend. According to an American university, younger siblings tend to be funnier than their older siblings. Lucky you! You're the youngest. I wonder if it's true. Would you double-check it, or you just trust your friend and share it? Great! You're reading a post which reports large, exaggerated numbers. Wow, that's a really big number. I wonder if this is true. Would you double-check it, or you trust the source and share it? Well done. Good job. Someone shares this article. Groundbreaking. Eating 1 kilo of chocolate a day boosts your memory. Science says so. But is this really true? What would you do? Would you double-check it or share it? Good job. Well done, Jasmine. Now you are an expert at telling the difference between fake and real news.
Now I know how to do it. I'll let my friends know that the news about the chocolate was fake, and I'll delete the post. More fake news! I'm definitely not going to share this.
And remember, not all you read on the internet is true. Here are some tips for you. Every time you come across some news you find interesting, don't read just the headlines. Read all the way through, and make sure the date and author's name are clearly stated. This way, you'll avoid making a mistake. If the headline involves exaggerated numbers or words like important, incredible, you can't imagine, and you also find grammar errors, be careful and check that other sites or newspapers have also reported similar news. If you don't find anything, then it's fake news. If the news comes to you by word of mouth, ask an adult to verify together with you that it is true. Whoever sent it to you may not have double-checked it, but you can. When you share fake news, you spread the word and make more people believe that it could be true. Remember that your actions can make a difference. Think about it before clicking share. What if someone you knew actually did start to consume 1 kilo of chocolate a day?
That's a lot of chocolate. But the video that we just looked at, it discussed several things. One of the things that it discussed was fake news, sharing information, sharing the wrong information, oversharing, and basically, you know, we showcase exactly in a very nice cartoon format what could happen if you use the technology for the wrong purpose and the right purpose. And hopefully, we will use technology for the right purpose. I would like to show you a video in terms of some of the social media tips. Now, of course, if you are on social media, which I'm quite sure most of you all are, there are tips that you should follow with regards to keeping yourself safe, as well as looking at your privacy and your family safety, especially in the world that we live in today. Let's take a look.
Social media safety tips. In 2019, there will be 2.77 billion social media users around the world. That's 2.7 billion chances for cyber attacks to take place on social media. It's easy to get caught up in the habit of oversharing on social media, but it can also be dangerous. Here are 5 critical social media safety tips everyone needs to know. 1. Don't overshare. It may be tempting to share every detail of your life on social media, but trust us, don't do it. Think about those quizzes that ask you to share your mother's maiden name or the street you grew up on. Those questions aren't random. These are the security questions social media sites use to protect your password when you create an account. While these quizzes may seem like fun, these are an easy way for someone to gain access to your account. Be wary of sharing vacation posts. While it's tempting to show everyone how much fun you're having, this gives criminals an open invitation to your empty home. Limit access to data. Wondering how to stay safe on social media? Limit the social media's site access to your data. When you play a game or take a quiz on a social media site, you are often giving a third-party access to your data. While this may seem harmless, they can gain access to your email, personal information, and even post to your social media account. The best thing to do when you see a request to access your information is to deny it. Trust us, that game or quiz isn't worth risking your data. 3. Be wary of spam content. One of the best social media security tips is to be wary of spam content. While it's easy to warn people about it, spam content can be hard to distinguish. Have you received a message along the lines of, "Oh my god, I saw you in this video and I can't believe you did this," with a link to a video or website? If so, you've likely encountered spam content. Clicking this link often leads you to a site requesting you update your software to view the content. But instead of upgrading your software, you end up installing malware onto your computer. 4. Understand your privacy settings. Understanding your privacy settings is essential for staying safe on the internet. Review your privacy settings and lock down your accounts. Unless you're a social media influencer who makes their money by posting content, you shouldn't leave your accounts public. Review your privacy settings and lock down your accounts. If someone wants to see your personal posts, they will have to send you a request. This ensures you only allow people you know and trust to view your content. 5. Have unique passwords. Take a look at this list of the most common passwords. If you have a password that appears on this list, change it immediately. Choose a password that uses lowercase and uppercase letters, includes a number, and a unique character. While this may seem like overkill, it will protect your accounts from getting hacked. Once you create a new password for one social media site, do the same for all your other accounts. Don't use the same password. If you use the same password, once one account is compromised, the hacker has access to all of your accounts. This tip applies to much more than social media. Make sure all your devices and websites, especially business accounts, have unique passwords. These 5 social media tips are only the beginning of personal cybersecurity. Every time you connect to the internet, you're putting yourself at risk of a cybersecurity attack. This doesn't mean you should avoid internet altogether. You just need to be smarter.
Right, and that was a basic video in terms of what some of the things to do when it comes to your social media and safety tips. And as I said, sometimes we share information, we post information, we do it just for the purpose of what we think is best. But sometimes we set our own selves up. So if, for example, you have a social media page, you have an email address, you have an online banking account, you have an online bill account, for example, one of the utilities, for example, what that means is that you will use a password to log in. One of the good practices is that you change your passwords regularly. Regularly could be not necessarily every day, but regularly could mean once a week, once a month, depending on how often you use it. And of course, don't just change your password, but get somewhere safe, preferably off the computer, maybe in a diary or in a book, as the case may be. And you write down the password. So you say, okay, you know what, my password for Facebook is mathematics 1, 2, 3. You're going to change it to English 4, 5, 6. I just give you an idea. I just use some basic terms, but of course you're not going to call it that. You might have some hidden characters. You might have some numbers inside of it. So you might have some alphanumeric characters based on the naming terms. And every time you change your password, what you do is that you simply change your password. So for the purpose of not being able to remember it, you could write it down. But if you have excellent memory, then you can simply, just remember it. But what tends to happen sometimes, you might have a password English with an asterisk at the end. Then the following one, you change it to English with an exclamation mark. And then the following one, you change it to English with a full stop, and so on. My point is that sometimes we can do minor changes, but we have to change it regularly. And of course, try to remember it. Because if you don't do that, you'll find out that every time you go into it, you have to click on forget password and go through the process to evaluate, to review, and to then change the password to something that you will remember, hopefully remember. So that is just one of the safety tips when it comes to social media, as well as online accounts. Now, the thing about it is that we spoke a little bit about a digital footprint. We spoke about putting things on the internet, and when you think that you have free email, or you have a free social media account, or you have a free YouTube account, or you have a free anything, always remember one thing. When it comes to the internet, when it comes to technology, unless you've been given a giveaway on IBN on this program, which we will do down the road, it's not free, right? So when you get something free here on this program, it is free. But when you get it free on the internet, it's not free. Why? You are the product. And what that means is that they're actually going to tell you, hey, what, come, let us give you a free email account, let us give you a free website, let us give you a free Facebook account, let us give you a free storage space. But then what they do is that they actually use those trackers, those cookies, not cookies to eat. Cookies is a term that is used to basically store the information based on what you do often. And then they actually look at what is happening based on the trends of your use of the technology, whether it be your phone or your computer. And what it then does, it actually tailor makes advertisements based on what you are thinking, what you're doing, what you're searching, what you're typing, what you're looking for, what you're browsing, what you're looking at. And then sometimes now, other than it being able to suggest those things, sometimes through the back door or the side door, you have hackers, you have people who have spam, you have adware, you have malware that actually hooks onto your system and then simply takes over the system or runs in the background that slows down the machine or does things or exchanges your data. We did do a program some time ago with regards to ransomware. And ransomware is something that is very critical, especially when it comes to companies and their data, because I think recently, about a year ago or two, they had a situation whereby NIB got ransomware where the system got taken over and literally mean that they have to pay a fee online, maybe with cryptocurrency or something like that, for the website or for the servers to be released, hence the term ransomware. So just as you could kidnap someone physically, you could kidnap or overtake your computer or your platform or your server or your operation and make you pay a fee in ransom, which is physical money, that they would then release the technology. One of the things that tends to happen as well, sometimes you go on a site, you see something, you see a message, you feel, hey, this is good. And I go through the process of following the information, I read up the information, and then I realize, but wait, why they wanted to know this information? Let me give an example. So you're browsing through social media, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, and a question pops up. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? What's the first thing you would do with it? And you innocently say, hey, there's a question, I wonder what I'll do. I'll buy a car. So then you just go and you say, I'll buy a car, I'll go on a vacation, I'll pay some bills off, and so on and so on. So you put out the information. Now what that did is simply tracked your information, and then all of a sudden you just start to see ads about buying a car. Or sometimes they might ask you a question, just as the video said. A question might pop up, what would you name your first child? You know, or something like that. And you will innocently put in, my first child name is John Thomas, or whatever it is as the case may be. And as you saw, sometimes the banks, for example, love to do this. They'll give you some questions, and then you put in a name, and that is your secret question. But on social media, they will have things that, or questions, or little surveys that pops up that asks you questions that is similar to the responses that you will get on those platforms. It then takes that information and gathers it. It builds a profile about you. And before you know it, your account becomes hacked, your data is compromised, your banking information is transferred somewhere, and you want to know, well, wait, how did that happen? That's how it happened. So these are little tips and tricks and safety notes that you should bear in mind when it comes to any type of technology: computer, laptop, tablet, cell phones, internet services, using a cyber cafe, using a public platform, using a friend's computer. All this is information that you have to be very particular with regards to sharing, putting on, because sometimes when you share too much information, it can be good and it could also become bad for your detriment down the road. So on that note, I see that we are out of time. Thank you very much for having us in your homes. Remember, this program is aired Thursday evenings from 8 to 9 p.m. right here on IBN. We have a whole series of programs that is planned for you. In the next couple of weeks, we will be talking about More in terms of cybersecurity, we'll be going into automation. We will be diving into electronic vehicles very soon. And of course, as we go along, we will open up the lines and take your calls. But as I said, if you need to contact me for any reason, my WhatsApp number, 791-0903 or 340-1130. And you can send us a message and we will see how we can address those concerns as the case may be. So until then, I am your host, Abdul Shahan Shah Ali Kasim, wishing you a productive week once again. For those of you who are observing the holiday, have a good holiday. And we will see you guys next week, Thursday, right here on IBN. Until, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God Almighty be with you and your families.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. Welcome to another episode of Peace Be Upon You. Today we are faced with one of the greatest challenges that Muslims who live in a non-Muslim society are faced with, and that is, how does one navigate, how does one survive, how do we maintain Islam in a dominantly non-Muslim society. This is a very important topic that many Muslim families have to or are faced with in terms of making decisions as to what to do regarding the preservation of their religion, the preservation of their deen, etc., etc. As we all know, there are 5 necessities that Islamic legislation has sought to preserve for a Muslim. And these are rights that Allah Azza wa Jal has legislated. One has to implement the law of Allah Azza wa Jal in order to attain and preserve these rights that were guaranteed to him as a Muslim by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the first of these necessities, what is known as Daruriyat al-Khams, the first of these is the preservation of the faith, yani hifdhud deen, the preservation of a person's Islam. Now I just want to mention, alhamdulillah, that many of our listeners may be based in or living in the island of Trinidad. As many of you know, when your forefathers came to the island to find work, alhamdulillah, for the most part, they were able to preserve their religion of Al-Islam. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we find that there was a renewal of the understanding of Islam, which occurred as far as, I would say, the late or mid 80s up till this time, whereby many of the descendants of the first groups of people who came from India to work on the sugar plantations and other things, other places where they worked at, we find that many of their descendants were able to attain scholarships and go to various Muslim countries in order to seek knowledge. And alhamdulillah, that instilled some renewal and some energy into the Muslim societies, and those that were wise and utilized the knowledge that they gained in order to benefit themselves, their families and their communities, did a service to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal by spreading the message and helping to eliminate some of the misunderstandings that people had, which they inherited about Islam in their practices, for example, and they were able to shed light and help some people by the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal to come back to the correct understanding of Islam and to leave off many of the innovations that were inherited from their forefathers. So alhamdulillah for this ni'mah. So the preservation of faith is one of those necessities, and it is indeed the most important of the 5 necessities that are legislated and guaranteed by the Islamic legislation. So everything that is connected to a person's faith, Islam seeks to preserve that. And if a person lives in an environment where they are not able to practice their faith, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go along, if a person is not able to practice his faith in a non-Muslim environment, then that individual has to start to think about perhaps moving either to another region within that place where he is, or moving out and going overseas to another place where he can practice Islam in a more complete and free manner. The second necessity that Islam guarantees is the preservation of life, and that's not really our topic today. Then we have the preservation of reason, preservation of lineage, and preservation of wealth. And Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned about these rights in Surah Al-Mumtahina, verse number 12, in which he said, Ya ayyuhan nabi, idha ja'aka al-mu'minatu yubayi'naka ala an la yushrikna billahi shay'an wa la yasriqna wa la yaznina wa la yaqtulna awladahunna wa la ya'tina bi buhtanin yaftarinahu bayna aydihinna wa arjulihin wa la yu'sinaka fi ma'ruf fabayi'hunna wastaghfir lahunna Allah inna Allaha ghafurun rahim. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in this ayah in Surah Al-Mumtahina, O Messenger, O Prophet, when the believing women come to you, pledging to you that they will not associate anything with Allah, they will not associate anything with Allah, nor will they steal, nor will they commit unlawful sexual intercourse, nor will they kill their children, nor will they fabricate any lie concerning that which is between their arms and legs. And some scholars have added a 6th right, or a 6th objective of the Islamic legislation, and they mention that it is the preservation of honor or reputation. And in any case, the point that concerns us here is the right of the Muslim regarding the preservation of his faith. And as I mentioned, this is the most important of all of those other rights that the Islamic legislation guarantees. The Muslim who lives in a non-Muslim society faces many challenges, as I mentioned. One of the challenges that a Muslim faces in a non-Muslim society is where he or she can find some means of sustenance that is halal. There may be lots of opportunities for a Muslim to open a business, but many times the businesses that a person may want to open will not be successful because there is no demand for that which he wants to sell. And the opposite is usually